Anthems, please.
Heavenly Father, we want to thank you so much for your goodness and mercy to us as a nation and as a people. Thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you for bringing us this group of young people, young Ugandans who are striving to know how to live and how to serve your purposes for their lives. We thank you for their families. We thank you for their communities. And we thank you for what you will use them to do in their lives. But for today, Lord God, we invite you to be present here, and we ask you for your guidance for this discussion. In Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen.
So now we're ready to start our interaction. Our first question is from Zay, and it's coming from Natasha, my namesake, Ahereza.
Thank you so much. My name, Natasha. Your Excellency, Mama, my name is Natasha Ahereza, the National General Secretary, NRM Youth League. Before I ask my question, Mzee, I want you to allow me extend my congratulatory message. Thank you so much for being a resilient person. Thank you so much for being a very formidable person. I was one of the people who watched you when we started from Luwero until when we ended from Kololo. I saw you under the sun, under the rain. Indeed, you are commander. Also, thank you, Mama, for being with us in and out. I remember when we were in Vuma Highlands, you told me that well done, and indeed we did a great job. Your Excellency, you have always encouraged us to make use of regional markets. And here we have a great chance as young people of a market, a very big market, Africa Continental Free Trade Area. But Your Excellency, this trade area is very big for young people in Uganda because they lack resources. So our question, Your Excellency, we are asking, how are young people going to be supported by the government apart from us accessing PDM, livelihood funds, and some of the funds you have given us of the graduates from the zonal hubs?
The market will not mean much if you do not produce a good or a service to sell there. So that's where you should start. Which good or which service are you producing to sell in Uganda, in East Africa, and if necessary in the rest of Africa? And that's why we start by telling you that you people, wealth and jobs, obugaga n'emirimu can only be found in 4 sectors. Sectors in Uganda, twazikyusanga obubondo buna. Sector 1, commercial agriculture. There are a long list of where you can be in the commercial agriculture. Food, beverages, fish farming, all those are in commercial agriculture. Even forestry, you can also put it in agriculture. The second sector where you can produce is manufacturing, artisanship or manufacturing. You can be there as an owner or as a worker in manufacturing. Then sector 3, services, hospitality, tourism, music, creative arts, all those are in the services. Then sector 4, ICT. So once you decide where you can fit, if you listen carefully and you support us, we had already seen that many people don't have capital. What you are saying, Natasha. We had seen this. So that's why we have put all these different funds. Starting with Ntandikwa in 1996, Ntandikwa. And all that money, PDM, Emyoga. Emyoga is more to do, yes, Emyoga is to do mainly with a little bit with services. So there's that money there. PDM now, Operation Wealth Creation before, NADS before. Now, what you should, the weakness I see on your side, the youth, obatemufayo, oba munyoma, I don't know what the problem is. Oba muhugire, okuhuga. Because this money comes, and from the beginning you are putting this money near you. These programs were all near you, not far. At the sub-county, Ntandikwa, NADS, Emyoga, all this money is either in the constituency or the sub-county. That's where the money is. Controlled by people you elect, because we are normally giving it to your chairpersons. Now, recently, in 2019, 2021, we now put it at the parish. And the idea was that this fund should be near the people, where the people can reach it. But people, it seems people don't bother to go to follow up. So that's how you get people diverting the money, cheating it, what? But if you really, because you are talking to a former young man. I am a former young man, and I have got all the credentials. Nobody can challenge my youngness, because that's when I actually was doing most of the work. These people here in the cattle corridor, we changed them when we were in our 20s, worked among them. But we were always able to go down. That was during the time of UPC. UPC was the one controlling the government in Kampala. And some of these areas were DP. And myself, I was a DP youth. But even then, I was able to work with John Babiha, who was Minister of Animal Industry and Vice President, in the areas where we could support livestock. But we did it because I was aware of all the government programs. But if you don't bother, you are busy with Arsenal. Arsenal, I have never heard. Somebody asked me, which club do you support? I said, what? Me? You were Museveni, general. I have never watched even once a European match. If I want, I am a footballer myself. If I want to play, why do I have to watch Europeans playing football? I can play myself or watch my team. So, of course, the money now may not be enough. The money we are sending may not be enough. But that's where now the youth now should come with their weight and say, you people, put more money here. Once you know that this is the medicine, then you demand more. But now the money is diverted, taken by other people, they divert, create new districts, create things which don't concern you. But because you are not following up, because if you are saying, that old man has brought a good program, PDM, we want more money there. With the youth, we want more money. Don't take it in the creating new districts, new cities. Let's first deal with this one here. But I don't get political support. I fight for those funds which can help you alone. You don't follow, you don't care. You don't kubanja. Those people of yours steal the money near you there. The cow, the what. But the cow is stealing the money not in Congo, it is here in Uganda. And everyone. So, then for the people, the bigger people, there is UDB. UDB. That is the bigger people, the ones with the who may need land titles and things like that. So there are answers for everybody. A nucleus, at least, entobo of an answer. Entobo is the nucleus, a beginning of a solution. Come in and participate and demand more. Now, once you are producing, then we shall now have to go into the political struggle with your other youth in Kenya, in Tanzania, to say now, you people, we the youth of Uganda are now in wealth creation. But we are being frustrated by the failure to fully implement the East African Charter. They are still blocking our products to enter Tanzania free, to enter Kenya free, to enter Rwanda free. That will now be the next stage to fight for full implementation. Then, which is now a political struggle. where you need to liaise with the other youth in Kenya and Tanzania, instead of watching the Arsenal. Then the issue of infrastructure. You are talking of the market of East Africa, but there's no road from Mpondwe to Kisangani. How will the goods travel from Kasese to Congo? You now contact the youth in Congo, because they are there. They're also frustrated like you. Our governments must work on the road from Kasese to Kisangani, so that you use the funds which are there. Because for me, because when I get there, God will ask me, what did you do? Almighty, I put this one here. I put this one here. And Almighty already knows, because you see what I'm doing. But your people are the ones who didn't. I would be like Adam. It is the woman you gave me who caused the problems. So I would say to the Natashas who didn't bother to follow up, but me, I put it there. So, yes, the money may not be enough, but it can be enough if we are all clear and demand in a unison voice to do the first things first, instead of wasting money on salaries of a few people, a few civil servants. Those funds can be pushed more and more and more and more. The funds for wealth, the integration of East Africa to make it one market. The documents are there, but it's not fully implemented because nobody bothers. People are busy with the Arsenal, with dance mpaka chini. The Banyankole say, "Nkunandire." When I have eaten and I'm satisfied, that's when I'm able to be fashion, to take interest in fashion. You can't take interest in fashion when you are hungry. You have no job. That's why the youth should concentrate on the things which will get them out of poverty, out of ignorance, education, health, and then we can add other things, pleasure and so on later.
We have thank you, Mzee. Thank you, Mzee, for that advice of waking up for us, the youth, for the young people and for all of us to spend more time thinking about Africa and our challenges. The next question is coming from Tamale Mirundi.
When you see me bringing the Natasha, the grandchildren here, I show them their wealth. This is your wealth. Those cows you saw. I got them from my grandfather. My great-grandfather, actually. My grandfather. Then my father. Now, if I don't look after them, what can my father do in heaven where he is? So the PDM is your buska. PDM is your obskawamwe. If you don't follow it up, this is the Jajja Uganda ebalamidde. Tibanange abazukulu mu miruka sente zizo milioni 10 buli mwaka. You don't follow it up. My great-grandfather who saved those cows in 1893 from the rinderpest of that time, and was fighting all the tribes who are trying to steal those cows. He went to heaven long ago. So, suppose I had not followed up, where would these cows be? So follow up your buska. Your buska. PDM is your buska. Emioga is your buska. All this money is yours. How can somebody, you come and touch my cows, you will see. Ntibabi ente za Museveni. Ha, banang. Baziba batia. Jajja azindamira ne baziba. Nzirwanako. This was the problem. So please, look, if the government was not having these programs, you could blame the government. But the programs are there. So follow them up. That's what we were telling you in the campaigns. Mubanje, mulondore, okulondora. Monitor and also demand. Okay.
The next question is coming from Tamale Mirundi Jr.
His Excellency, my name is Tamale Mirundi Jr., son to the late Tamale Mirundi Sr., your former press secretary. His Excellency, my question is, the population in Uganda, most of the population were young people. And His Excellency, you have so many old people in your government. Apart from you, the wise one, and the people like Mr. Biaruhanga who are very hardworking. His Excellency, we pray in the next government, you give more positions of authority to young people. That's our prayer. Because it is young people that understand young people. His Excellency, there are challenges that young people are going through, which even don't need the capital, they don't need the money, but understanding human behavior.
Who are those?
The young people, ask His Excellency, the Gen Zs. Lastly, His Excellency, ever since, this is a kind reminder, ever since my late father passed on, I haven't got an opportunity to speak to you. I know today, His Excellency, after this session, you'll guarantee me that request. Because you have said we remind and we monitor. Thank you so much.
Okay. Now the young people, that's a very good idea from Tamale Mirundi, that we appoint young people. I like it. And we appointed them in the past. If, for instance, you see people like Anite, Evelyn Anite, I appointed her when she was in her 20s. Just out of teenagers. So I will appoint them, I have no problem. But what you should be careful about, don't avoid your responsibility. Because I have told you before, don't confuse biology with ideology. You may be young, but lost in terms of what to do. And the good example were our independence leaders. All those leaders were young people, all of them, independence. Mutesa, 39 years, Obote, 35, Nechon, 28, Kakonge, 26, they were all young people. Rwamwaro, what? The only one who was above 40 would have been maybe Nadiope and Jomo Kenyatta. Jomo Kenyatta in Kenya was the one in 50s. In the whole of East Africa, they were all young people. I remember Rashid Kawawa, when he became Prime Minister of Tanzania, he was 31. But they failed. So, don't concentrate on biology. Because when you say we understand the young, they are the ones who understand the young people, that means they should understand them correctly. If they say we young people like Arsenal, and then you say because we are young we are watching Arsenal, including our minister Muvubuka ari ku Arsenal ne batamanya nti obugaga buva wano nti emirimu giva wano, you are going to be lost. So don't spend so much time on just biology. Yes, biology is good, but please, ideology is decisive. Because when we were fighting, we were young, but we were fighting young people on the other side. There were young people on the other side, we were young people on the side. So historically speaking, you had to see which side was right. For instance, Kabaka Yeka, which was promoting Bugandaism. Even now, you get in Nkobazambogo, they are not old people. They are young people. But there are people who are saying Buganda is more important than Uganda. And me, I say Uganda is more important than Ankole, than Buganda, than Lango. It is more useful to me. So, if you are young, but disoriented, how will it help you? So young, but oriented. You should add another word. You don't just say young. Mistake makers are young people. And also old people. You get people who make mistakes when they are young. So that's my advice to you. It's good you have raised it. I have talked about it before. Not just biology, but biology and ideology. Like for instance, recently we were somewhere, and Dr. Kia must be somewhere here. He's there, Dr. Kia, who is also a former young person. He asked these young people, which are the 4 sectors where wealth and jobs are found? Nobody knew. Nobody knew. We had an audience like 40 people, 50 people. So I can tell you, whether you are young or ancient or recent or out of date, if you don't answer that question, I'm sorry for you. You are lost. Which are the 4 sectors? You don't know that. This is what I was talking about in the campaign. But they were not bothering. They don't bother to listen. So if you don't, now the other day, Mom and myself, we had. There is a very successful young boy called Basangwa in Busoga, who is doing a very good job with the poultry and eggs. And I was showing his videos during the campaign. Now, apparently, Ugandans in diaspora were watching those videos. Then when they saw how that Basangwa is getting 20 million shillings a day from eggs, the ones in UK, I said, bano balimba. Fe twamanyira obwavu. How can somebody get 20 million shillings a day? Guno usajja gulimba gwa Museveni.
This is not in Uganda.
So they decided to come and check. They came all the way from UK. They are there in UK, bakola cheyo. Wana tukola sente bali eri mu kyeyo. Sente ziri wano bazireka wano. So they came And they were shocked to find Basango in Kamuri earning 20 million shillings a day. So if you don't solve that disorientation, whether you are young or ancient or what, you are lost.
The third question is from Pamela Ankunda.
Thank you, Mzee, for this opportunity once again, and congratulations on the recent victory at the elections. Mzee and Mama, thank you so much again for overhauling the education system in Uganda, the curriculum. I think we are seeing a better interaction with the students, the learners, and the parents. And thank you also for focusing on the vocational skills that our children are getting. However, my key question is those who graduate from these very many skilling centers that you've put across the country.
Speak loudly.
The very many young children that are graduating from the different vocational schools around the country, the skilling centers around the country that you've put.
From which schools?
Vocational schools.
Yes.
And the skilling centers. Is there particular funding that can be proposed to support them, to support their innovations and their startup ventures?
Yes, there is already a fund. First of all, there is the Innovation Fund in the Ministry of Science and Technology. Then, recently, I started a fund for the graduates of the skilling hubs, my skilling hubs. So those funds can be expanded. And the one of the skilling hubs is district-based. Because we try to put these funds near the people, not very far, not Kampala, so those funds they are there, but they can be expanded for taking advantage of skills to create wealth and jobs, and for the ones who have got, and that's how the man of Emyoga is actually about that. Emyoga means skills. But again, the problem is that you don't bother to understand and follow up and see how you come in, and even if there are weaknesses, you fight them locally there.
Mama, might you have anything to add to that?
I'd like to begin by, first of all, thanking all of you, because I think it's very important that we're beginning to have big numbers of young Ugandans who are, first of all, proud of being Ugandan. Seeing you here concerned to have time to speak to the president or listen to him is a blessing for Uganda as a country, because Africa has failed to develop because it always looks to other countries to develop it, to change it, to fund it, to do things for Africa. That's why you see many of our young people dying on the seas, trying to go abroad to look for jobs. And you know we have jobs here. That's what the president was talking about. Africans have always been so ashamed of being African. So for me, I think we now must begin to celebrate, to see young Ugandans really proud of being Ugandan. That's the first point I wanted to say to you. Because All other things will come from us knowing that Uganda depends on us to develop, to change, to have our own products, to be ourselves. When you see Ugandans trying to have blonde hair, you know there is a problem with a character. And I believe, and I know that there are some of you who have changed your hair color to blonde, to brown, to whatever. I just think that I want you to know.
Mama, I would like to, just before you continue, move on from that point, I'd like you to know that the young people here, especially the girls, the ladies, made an effort to really come African this time round for you and Mzee. And when Mzee comes back, we'll tell him, because the last time I think he was a bit sad to see all the way the young people, their hair and so on, especially the girls. So now to honor you and Mzee, we have really come out as Ugandans. So
I must thank you, honestly, I thank you, and I must say I'm proud of you. That's what I said out of there. Because watching our election campaign this time round, our campaign went the way it did because most Ugandans wanted to make a point that they are proud to be Ugandan.
Amen.
And they wanted their country to remain and to grow and to develop, and they wanted to vote for the government they want themselves and win. And they won, which is something we must be proud of. So, going to the question now, having a new curriculum that you see many people are talking about, that has changed their way of learning. Our young people now enjoy being in school, being in class, asking questions, doing their own projects that say that they enjoy what they are learning and they want to learn and speak for themselves. And teachers are becoming facilitators of education, but not just to feed children like chicken feed their young. Our children now want to ask questions, their own questions. They want to show that they have their own attitude, they have their own opinion. And I think that is something that really shows that Uganda is changing for the better. Because the Bible says that education that comes from worldly philosophies bring captivity, and Christian philosophies bring liberty. When you are liberated as a person, then you can liberate your country. But the education we had from colonial people who were in Africa brought the education that really just made us captive of those countries. And even their education was what we worshipped. We wanted to be who they are. We wanted indeed to, their sports become our sports. Whatever they want is what we must do. But now, Uganda and a new curriculum is bringing real liberation, and Ugandan children are becoming true Ugandans. That's why you are here, I believe. That's why you care to ask questions about tomorrow. What are we going to do about tomorrow? So, I want you to know that the skills that the children are getting now, if they are really looking forward to providing a service to their people, they will be able to do it. Museveni was just, and throughout the whole campaign, he was talking about how the young people will have more funding put into PDM and all these other programs that have always been there. And if you also learn to become proud of your families and start working even with the families, you know, many of our families have some worth where you are born, where you come from, but you are not proud of where you come from. Therefore, you don't think that you can work with your families and develop the wealth that is there. If you now get the skills and take your skills back to your families and hold hands with your parents at the family level, you can develop and become another Basangwa. So, and the money, government is trying to invest money in the young people's programs, but you must be disciplined, you must be selfless, and you must be forward-looking and confident that you can do it, that you can become what you vision in yourself. Money, I was just talking to Mzee about our budget in 1986. Do you know what our budget was in 1986? 5 billion. 5 billion. That was the national budget of Uganda. Today, Mzee, you can tell
70 trillion. 70,000 billion.
So, things can't just happen all at a go. But if we are striving to see that our nation will change and we will all become proud right here, beginning with our families, with our communities, and we look at each other as Ugandans and hold hands to work together and stop looking at each other in tribes and religions and I don't know what, those things that divide us. If we look at each other as Ugandans and work together, Uganda will be unstoppable.
Amen.
So, just to go back to your question, the money is there. Even now there is money for those who are looking for it, if they really want to develop their skills. And I'm sure you heard some of the children who are giving testimonies during the campaign, where they came from, how they had dropped out of school, how they got a chance to go now to the skilling center. They got skills and they got some funding which was put there by government, and now they're also employing others. Many of them were talking about their experiences. And so, let's just not think that everything must happen right away, but let's have hope and let's be disciplined and let's really work for a character that would help you to fulfill the God's plan for your life. I always tell young people what God said to Jeremiah in the Bible. God said to Jeremiah that before he was in his mother's womb, he knew him. And I want to tell you that today, that before any one of you was in your mother's womb, God knew you. And God knows you by name, and he has a purpose for your life. If you care to find out what God's purpose for your life is, God's hand will guide you along, and you find you can't fail to do what you really aspire to do. So those skills, they will facilitate what the children of Uganda want to do, and I have no doubt in my mind that the funding is there, and it will continue to come, and those who are prepared to be disciplined in their lives and to look for what they want and pray also, they will fulfill their destiny. I thank you.
Now we have our fourth question is from Maurice Mugisha.
Thank you very much, Natasha, Your Excellency, President Museveni and Mama. It's an honor to join you for this ranch edition. And Natasha, I want to thank you for bringing us to the ranch. Your Excellency, speaking for myself, I represent Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, and I come from Kisoro, and speaking for myself and my brother, Don Wanyama, we don't have these cows in our area. Don is from Bugisu and I'm from Kisoro. So this for us is always an honor, whenever we can. And so we thank you for allowing the young people to come and see what wealth looks like. Your Excellency, I want to speak to economics, and I want to pick from Natasha and speak to the fact that Uganda, as the analysts say, is growing very steadily, an average of 6%. In fact, it's projected to grow to double digits in the next few years, given the oil production that's coming online. We are now a net exporter, Your Excellency. For the first time, you have a positive trade balance. And Your Excellency, we continue to see a very strong currency. We continue to see our trade balance with the region, especially here in the East African region, continue to grow. And when you look at the numbers, the DRC, South Sudan, Rwanda, and Kenya continue to take the bulk of our products in terms of trade. And for the young people, because this is a conversation for young people, you spoke to where the opportunities are for the young people and how they can position themselves, first of all in attracting the capital, but also in looking outward, out of the 45 million Ugandans. You have been driving and pushing for regional integration, Your Excellency. And the first edition of Jazz with Jajja, it was nice to see you explain how this federation speaks to the interest of not just Uganda, but the region and the continent at large. But when we speak to the young people, we want you to tell them how integration is going to be critical, given the growth and the trajectory. Your Excellency, a lot of young people laugh at the Honorable Matia Kasage's plain, example of our economy and how we are taking off. But they need to know that we can position ourselves as young people. And I know Natasha keeps saying the young people. I think, Natasha, we are still young. We can still position the young people to benefit not just from the integration of our region, but at the continent level, because we are talking to about a 3.4 trillion US dollar trillion market of 1.3 billion people. But what about young people positioning themselves first for the regional market as we drive for regional integration? And that is where the wins will come from at the beginning, because we're already doing very well. Our manufacturing and industry is doing great. But how can these young people then begin to believe that they have a cake in this drive to grow our national economy, but also to grow our region?
Well, this is ideological, because unfortunately I am an authoritative former young person, because When I went to Mozambique, 1968, I was 23 years old, leading students to go and associate with our brothers in Mozambique. And in the school system, we were studying the history of Europe. For instance, Germany, how Germany became one country. Up to 1870, what is now Germany was 39 small kingdoms. All of them German population, but under petty kings, small kings, small kings, small kings. But the capitalist class, when they came up, they said, these small kings are stopping us from doing business. Because when you try to go from Prussia to the other areas, you pay tax. From Prussia to Saxony, you pay tax. From Saxony to Bavaria, you pay tax. They are the ones who supported the pan-Germanism, the unification of Germany. That's how Germany, they supported Bismarck. That's how Germany got united in 1871. Italy was not one country until 1860, when Henry Cavour and Garibaldi and others united it. So even from the school system, if you are really serious, from the United States, why is the United States now so powerful? It is because, unlike Latin America, the former Spanish colonies in Latin America, when they got independence from Spain, they decided to remain small states. Up to now they are there, Bolivia, Nicaragua, El Salvador, I don't know which one, Honduras, small. Business can't succeed there. But the British colonies in the north, when they got independence, they united, the 13. So these young people, young without ideology, you are lost. I'm sorry. The ideology is medicine for socio-economic issues. How can you be a doctor if you don't study medicine? Because the patient needs to be cured. So you must correctly diagnose his sickness and prescribe a solution. So whether you are young or ancient or modern or recent or whatever you call yourself, if you do not correctly diagnose the problems of society and the answer, you are finished. You are a quack. You are not a doctor. Which kwangala? You are a fake doctor. So you must correctly analyze what society needs. I've told you, the NRM has told you in writing by speech, said prosperity, abantu okubeera obulungi. The Runyankore word is easier, obugwajje. Obugwajje will only come, apart from the religious side, how to prepare to go to heaven, which Mama is talking about, which is very correct, the spiritual side. But here, on earth, the only way you can get prosperity is to produce a good or a service and sell it. In other words, become a wealth creator. Create a good or a service where in the 4 sectors, the ones I have said. Then you start now worrying with the issue of the market. Who is to buy? 45 here, million, 46 now, they're about 59 million. Then East Africa, then the rest of Africa. So I think what is lacking here is first and foremost, because if these young people, recently I met Gen Z from Kenya. They came and saw me at Nakasero. They had come here that they are experts in organizing riots. So Noop had brought the Kenyan Gen Z as resource persons for riots. When they got here, some of our young people said, no, here we don't like riots. Why don't we go and see this old man? So these children came to Nakasero to see me from Kenya. During the elections, I had some time in the evening. I said, we are rioting. What are you rioting for? Corruption. Then I said, okay, corruption is a problem. But even if there was no corruption, but you don't solve the issue of producing a good or a service, you don't solve the issue of producing a good or a service and selling it, even if you are not corrupt, you will be stuck. Why? Okay, as you talk about corruption, because part of why you don't have jobs, part of the problem that the businesses are not expanding fast enough. Why are they not expanding fast enough? Because sometimes they have problem of selling, like sugar, for instance. We produce sugar, but Tanzania doesn't buy. They are buying from Brazil. Somebody else is buying from I don't know where. So you find the sugar companies are struggling with sales of sugar. The milk, we have a lot of milk now, but sometimes some of the African countries don't buy the milk. We have now going to have to go to Algeria, where we've got a market. So the young people, when I was still your age, I would be very busy on the issue of the East African integration. Because if you don't integrate, you kuzingamia. You know our words are stronger than English. You kuzingamia businesses. Businesses zizingama. Okuzingama mkumanyi? Tamale mrundo kuzingama chechi. Stagnation in the growth. So, if you do not solve the issue of okuzingamia businesses, because now we have got surplus here in Uganda, we have got surplus of maize. We produce 5 million tons. We consume only 1 million. There's a surplus of 4. And problem. Sometimes they don't buy. Sometimes this milk we are producing 5.3 billion liters. We are consuming only 1 million, less than 1 billion. Surplus 4. Cement, what? All this, beer, sugar. So the youth, you need to really understand holistically what Mama is saying. Africa one. Why do you really you hear the breeze here? You feel it, the breeze. So when you go to Europe and you find these people freezing in Brussels, I find them there. What are you doing here? But because of ideological disorientation, in our Church of Uganda prayer book, it says, balekanga okukola eby'Abasande okukola, ne bakola eby'Abatasande okukola, n'amazima tegali mu bo. They left and done what they ought to have done, and they did that they ought to not have done, and there's no truth in them. This is the problem I see here. So, me, a former young person, okay, me, a former young person, when I bought Ruaktura, imagine, I bought Ruaktura when I was 22 years old. That Ruaktura there. My first salary as a teacher, when I taught as a temporary teacher, I went and bought Ruaktura. I left my colleagues in Mbarara learning how to dance with girls. That you also. I went and bought Ruaktura. It was in the bush. What I've been telling you in the elections. Enjawulo eri wakati wa enkulaakulana n'obugagga. The difference between development and wealth. I knew that yes, by that time there was already a tarmac road in Mbarara, but in Ruaktura there was a bush, no road, no what. But there was Obugaga there. Pasture for my cows. So I bought that land. When I bought this land here in 1990, this was bush. By this time I was in my 40s now, that time. I see Bobby Wine, he's in his late 30s or 40s. He says he's a young man also. You are still young at 40. A man of 40, you don't say I'm young at 40, I'm young. By this time I was no longer, but it was bush. So, what Mama was telling you, you need eyes to see substance, not aberrations, just the mirages. Obugaga buli wano. Emirimu giri wano. The 4 sectors, commercial agriculture, artisanship and manufacturing. What the man from Kisoro is talking about is that big growth you hear, 7%, we are now approaching 8%, we are going. The people who are doing it are mainly two. We, the farmers, and the manufacturers. But many of the manufacturers are also outsiders. So that's why you hear that as we speak now, 70% of the homesteads in Uganda are now in the money economy. But there is 30% abachari mukorere chida kyonka abo okorere chida kyonka, only working for the stomach katabo. So you have two stories. You have growth and prosperity. Kampala bagaga weweri. Some of the children are now arriving in schools with helicopters. Have you heard that? Mama had to ban them. Yes, they had started, some of the children in the secondary schools. He arrives in a helicopter. So some of the families are very rich. But the problem is now the 30%. And part of the problem is obutauliriza. Part of the problem is not listening. There is one of the church people whom I will not tell you. I will first talk to him. I will first quarrel with him. There's one of the church people who wrote to me, and I answered him. He said, this PDM, but members of my church, nobody has benefits from PDM. Nange namudamu. Kubanga oli muzadde mubi. You are a bad parent. Because Nazara Natasha, Namhoz, Twazara Mama, Twazara Bana, Netobakuza. At some stage, we couldn't say, you stay here with us, you are our children. Msigare wano, genda funemi kwano. Sigenda kukwasa, genda. So, they went, now you can see Demogoba. This is Sas now, one of my grandchild. Sas there. Now, if I had said, Natasha Sigarawano, stay here, because you are my daughter, Sigarawano, how would I get Sas now? So some of these church people are bad parents. They want to monopolize the followership. You stay with me. Tibabagamba nti mugende mulize government kyegamba. That's what Mzadi said. You go and listen what the government is saying. I don't know whether you have heard anybody saying that in the churches. Have you heard them saying that? This is what I told the church person who wrote to me. Because you don't tell your followers to listen to the government. You want to keep, I don't know whether it is loyalty or what, of your followers. So you don't encourage them. Don't encourage them to listen to the government. I encourage Natasha to be with his family, with her family. Mwana wange na ye, for her own good, must separate herself from me to have her own family. So, if they listen, there's nothing, especially with us, the 30% also, because the 70% have listened. Because when I appointed General Sare, 2013, the people in the money economy were only 32%. 68% were outside the money economy. Singambale n'obudde mwandunyeze mu byalo wano, ekisozi wano. I've got about 2,500 families just near me here. When I came here, they were all democratically poor. I fought with them. Now they have all, the majority are now, especially in the commercial agriculture. So from 2013, you see we have moved from 32% in the money economy to now 70% in the money economy. It's only 30%. So singa bawuliriza okuwabula kwaffe, things are very easy to move with us. Then we shall have all to struggle together with the market. We'll have to work with the Kenyans, with the Tanzanians, with the Rwandese, with the Congolese, the African youth, to start a Pan-African movement. I have told you about the story of Germany. But even France, although France was one kingdom for a long time, but they had internal taxes between the provinces. Bagande to Brittany, you pay tax. Brittany to you pay tax. But the French Revolution of 1789, by the middle class, the bourgeoisie, part of the grievance was internal taxes. Jakem soro, twagala business etambule wonna. So you need to create wealth, and then you start struggling for markets in Africa, because the African market is the one which belongs to you. The markets of Europe, they may allow you or not allow you. They are not yours. The ones which you are guaranteed is the one of Africa if you all unite. Like now, China has got problems with with other countries, sometimes with America, but they have their market internal. They are not. They will survive. 1.4 billion people in one country. Wano muri wano, Uganda, Rwanda, Congo, what you are scattered. Instead of seeing this as a problem, you are watching European football. What is your future? What is your future? I don't know whether I've answered your question.
Fifth question. We have 9 and we are now on number 5. Is from Happy Kanywan.
Naenda kusima mzee na mama Janet ukunyeta. My question goes to Mama Janet. Is it possible for creative arts to be added into our education system?
I think she means the modern creative, modern in terms of like this content creation type of thing. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I mean the content creators, influencers.
Is it not there?
I think it is there. Maybe you're saying you don't see them actually become what they train to be.
Jemuli banange. Good afternoon, Mama Janet. This is my first time seeing you. So yes, like one-on-one, because now you're seeing me, I'm seeing you. So maybe you've been seeing me when I don't see you. Yes, so why I chose to begin with you, I'm an orphan. Yes, my Jajja, my father and mother died when I was a little boy. Now, the last person who has been with me, my Jajja, died just 2 weeks ago. Yes. So, I said now that I've seen you, I want to talk to you about my issues as an orphan.
Okay.
Since you are our mother.
Yes.
So, I'm asking for some appointment. I come, we sit, we eat, we drink. And I tell you some of my issues as an orphan. But now wabi, nsababusabi mama.
Okay, Irene is right. Irene, please take Mr. Kasuku.
Obugala wanange, esawa yonna. Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. President. You usually call me Katende. I told people out there, I told them you're my friend. And I've been, the last time I was here, you promised us things. Yes. But it is. So, I've been, everywhere I pass was saying, President yakuwa ebintu byaffe. I told them mulindeko twali mu kamera. So they told me lero bogenda enkalo zaffe bazikuwe. So I said fantastic, fantastic. And now that aside, I think if I am given another chance, then I'll speak on behalf of most of us here, because we have another message we want to give you, Mr. President, before you leave. But today, you started out with the fundamentals, the sectors that drive the economy and, our way of life. You talked about agriculture, you talked about manufacturing, you talked about service, that is hospitality, tourism, music, the creative arts, and then you talked about ICT. So like I was here last time, I was trying to sell to you the idea of the digital economy. The digital economy is employing so many youth. Unfortunately, I don't know how they explained it to you. The last time we were with you, it looked more like you guys are rumor mongering, you're just moving around, you know, you really don't have direction. But we have so many youth earning from the digital economy. And by the digital economy, I'm talking about digital content creators. There's the high end, the guys that deal with the internet and the connections and all that. Then there's us, the final level here. I worked in print, the newspaper. I've worked there. I've worked on radio. I've worked on TV. But I'll tell you, Mr. President, the biggest job I've done that has sold me to the world, that has given me some money, has been on social media, on the digital. I didn't have it in my dreams that one day I'll meet you. I think I've met you once. I was a young boy, P3 at Jajja, Mugwanya. We had gone for the trade fair, and you were there, and I'm one of the people you shook hands with. And of course, I was a celebrity at school. So, but since then, we've had people who have been coming, of course, you know. But the moment I started YouTube, TikTok, the whole country got to know me. The people around you picked interest. They are like, well, this guy is doing something different that maybe, you know, you would want to know about. And so when we got to the fundamentals you talked about, we come in terms of promoting. For example, we've gone to your farm. You told us the cows are for ghee. But when you make that ghee, you need to sell it to the people. So what for us we do, basically, in terms of content creation, we are going to show people how these farms, how these cows are looked after from birth to when they produce. So we, tusomesa analunde ente. Like you see the way you tell us about the 4-acre model. Kati ffe tulaga omuntu okusinziira ku muntu wa bulijjo nga tetwogedde luzungu lungi oba ki ne tumulaga nti ente eno ogikwata booti n'ogirabirira booti okutuusa weetandika okuwa amata gano bw'ogajjamu ogakola otya okufuuka omuzigo omulungi. Kalali ne tulyoka tugamba abantu nti omuzigo guno ate mulungi mujje mukole ki mugugule. Kati kyetugezaako okusaba Mr. President nti abaana bafunayo ku ssente mu bintu bino bye bakola, naye beetaaga omukono gwo mu gavumenti eno eddako gy'ogenda okukola. Beetaaga balabe nti gavumenti ebawagira, kuba nabo balina ebintu bye bakola oba ate bye bayinza okukola okwongerayo obubaka bwa gavumenti mu bantu. Naddala kati guno omulembe ng'ebintu ebisinga bizze ku ssimu. Kati bw'otunuulira abaana nga bano bw'obalaba, bw'ogenda ku buli omu mu real time n'obabuuza abantu bameka abalaba, bagenda kukulaga waliwo ayina omutwalo, aliwo emitwalo 10, waliwo ayina emitwalo 5, nga bonna balaba kino. Kati oli ne babeera tatudde ku TV ng'atambula n'essimu ye wano, asobola okuba nga obubaka bwo oba obubaka obulala omuntu wa gavumenti omulala oba naffe ffennyini bye tukola asobola okubeera ng'abiraba. Naye tuga nti President, twagala tukutegeeza omulimu guno ng'ovuddeko abantu bye bagamba nti abaana abali eyo bavumira okwo bakola ki. Abavuma be batini, naye abaana bangi kuno kati kwe bajja akasente abatundira engoye ku ssimu, abatundirako ennyama, abantu bakolerako delivery, enviiri, ebintu bingi ebigenda okwo. Kwegamba kye nali ngezaako kutegeeza mukama waffe nti yesebo kati nga tusaba tulabe tuyinza tutya okutandika okubeera nti tukolera wamu mutu incorporating naddala mu gavumenti ejja.
We shall support you because you see we have been supporting like the musicians. We gave them I think 10 billion shillings.
Yes, sir.
The Kenzo and group. Now this one here is part of sales promotion. What you call content, that packaging is part of sales promotion.
Yes, sir.
Okusiba ebintu ebyo nga abantu ne babimanya ne babigula. Is that not correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so that one should be supported. I totally agree.
Yes, sir. Tuyanzege. Era olwenasemba okuba wano wali onsabye
especially bw'oba otunda ebya wano, bw'oba opackaging ebya wano. That's why you become now a useful partner. Singa wali otunda ebyebweru kubitunda wano, you would be a comprador bourgeoisie. Omuntu akolera byebweru. Naye bw'oba osiba ebyaffe n'obyanjula eri abannayuganda wano oba abebweru, you are a very useful person. Tukutenda tugamba nti oyo mulungi. So I will support you. I will support you.
Tuyanza nnyo ssebo. Kati
are you well organized?
Tuli organized, tulina sako weeri bulungi nnyo, tulina ekibiina ekitutwala.
Ngenda kuteeka mu billion 5.
Wangi ssebo, lindako siwulidde bulungi. Wangi ssebo,
billion 5
miliyoni biliyoni. Tweyanziza nnyo ssebo. Simanyi nyinza funayo kadde ki nenzija nenkusisinkanamu nenkuyisaamu ku kiwandiiko kyaffe ne tuwayamu.
Bakuleete wiiki ejja.
Wiiki ejja ssebo. Bannaayo olunaku lwayiro twasanzaani. Kati nga sinaba kuvaawo ndowooza Madamu Natasha nsaba kano nako kankayisizeewo ddala. Abakulu babadde kati baŋŋambye nti bw'omaliriza ebyo byonna ate omukulu omutegeezi. Mr. President, congratulations, sir. Entandika gy'otandiseemu ekisanja kigenda tunyumira. Nkirabiddewo nebaaya kigenda tunyumira. Kati bana obugalo, our man. Kati abaana abazze olunaku olwaleero tubadde twegaayamu ne baga nti Pulezidenti munnyonnyole fo ekamodo nga bw'abitunnyonnyola kino ekisanja ekijja asooka atukwatireko atute fe abazze leero buli omu kale bana mubeere bakakkamu. I have this. Baŋŋambye ŋŋenda kukomawo. Katusooke tumalirize. Munindeko. Katusooke tumalirize. Thank you, Your Excellency. I will be waiting to see you next week in a new suit.
No, what you are talking about is not something new, because in the past it was called advertisement. the companies will spend money on the TV advertising products. Because I remember in the 1960s, in the whole of East Africa, even in Tanzania, you would hear people advertising Naitiri ginger, Naitiri ginger, Naitiri ginger, Naitiri ginger, Naitiri ginger. The cloth which was being made at Naitiri. When I was in Tanzania, I would hear it on the radio. So what you are now saying is that in the chain of wealth creators, a layer of operators has come up to use the social media, which is an easy way of communication, unlike the radios, the what, to package and present products to the consumers. So that's a useful. So if you have got a group who are doing that, we shall support them. There's no problem at all. Okay.
I think as a small example of the kind of some of the work that these young people do, some of the digital creators made a video. So this is it, a very short video.
Asa kiakwata, ninjumanya. Hata kanzo muka. Yabatu mamasi wangda. Ngari arenga. Yes, very good. Yeba boys nabareba. Thank you. I'm fine. Yes, going home as usual. Yes, bantu mukora ye. Bantu mukore. Nebajangwa batokora tabakuria. Atakora taria. Hey, yaba mutabani wasibota. Urje? Yes. Tumayonesa? No? Jasinatia yona? Very good. I'm proud of you, okay? Yeah, thank you. Yes, madamu. Eh, chamadamu jaje. Iso tanjir nyapra we iso tanjir. Adam mzee weza bagana bagamba kani wachi nje ise. Mzee hata bagana weza na bagamba chi.
Muganda gamba atakora tanja. Whoever doesn't know to work.
Yamare. Wajanda. When you
So it is a combination of sales promotion and entertainment.
Yes.
Good. Okay.
The seventh question is coming from Jacqueline Arinda.
Thank you, Natasha. Your Excellency, my name is Jacqueline Arinda, and I'm a Muzukuru who started up a coffee company online. I am proof that the youth online do not just make noise. It's a coffee company that roasts coffee for other companies, the young people who do not have facilities. So I advertise. I started on Facebook, and later when Facebook was closed, I switched to Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Mr. President, when I started my company, I was not renting. I used my social media platforms to advertise coffee. I used to go to a roastery, roast the coffee, get the coffee from farmers, take it to a roastery, roast it.
Who owned the roastery?
He's called Gerard Katabaz, was also a young person like me. He allowed me to roast my coffee from his roastery. So it is in Nakawa. I could go there, roast my coffee, go with it at home, take pictures, post on social media, and people would buy. And within 6 months, Mr. President, I was able to have an office because of the sales that I was getting. And from then, Mr. President, I'm here to say, I was a beneficiary of NSSF and I managed to buy my own roastery. But the message here, Mr. President, is that any other business in agriculture, like you said, the 4 fundamentals, commercial agriculture, and ICT need a link. And that link, Mr. President, is going to support all of us to start our own businesses and even manufacturing. We all do not have to start big, because I am an example to show the young people that you do not have to start with billions. If I could start with just a social media platform, because me, I was a celebrity, Mr. President, and I realized I had a huge following, but I was not getting money out of it. So I said, how about I start roasting coffee, get from farmers?
You were a celebrity from what?
Mr. President, from the day one, I was Miss Tourism Ankole region. And from being a Miss Tourism Ankole region,
from being what?
Miss Tourism.
Oh.
Ankole.
Narurunji.
Narurunji.
Oh, okay.
And from then, I managed to get a job, but also because of my huge following on social media, I managed to get a job on TV and radio. So I realized that I had huge following, but I was not getting money out of it. So I said, how about I buy coffee from farmers who do not speak good English, and maybe they don't know how to advertise on social media, get their coffee, take it to a roastery, roast it, package it, go home, post the pictures, and use borders to do the distribution and delivery. So, Mr. President, my question here is, what policy changes will the government be introducing in the next 5 years to enable Ugandan businesses to use new technologies, even better, to grow the private sector? That includes AI and drone systems. Because what we are lacking is that as much as we advertise, we are not skilled to the standard of getting the content. As you see them with their phones there, that's a skill that most farmers and even us would need training in AI. Thank you.
No, you see, we really have the basics. Because you see, you are using social media. Social media in the past was using satellites in the past. But satellites were very expensive. So that's how I invested. I worked with the Chinese and built internet, underground cable. You know, sometimes you don't know those things. So because of that, although at that time our concern was the telephones, international telephony through satellites was very expensive. There's what you can check the figures, what they call per megabyte or something like that. There's the way they calculate it. It was very expensive per megabyte. They call it megabyte. It was so much expensive. So that's how I invested with the Chinese in the underground cable from the ocean to here. Then we had a problem. There was no undersea cable. There was an undersea cable coming from Southeast Asia, passing by Aden, Yemen, the Red Sea. But it was not coming to Mombasa or Dar es Salaam. So and the other one was at Cape Town, so there was a gap. no undersea cable between Djibouti and Durban. But we got an undersea cable. So we are now linked from here to the coast, and from the coast to Eden, to the Red Sea. So therefore, the cost of so therefore, if you check, I don't have the figures, but the cost has come down. So we are already working on that. So therefore, and we are going to continue now. Elon Musk has come in, is proposing, is now saying that the satellite cost has come down because you see with the undersea cable and the underground cable, then you have the towers communicating. But now Elon Musk is saying that he can use satellite to go direct to the village. We are discussing that. So therefore, the infrastructure for telephones, but also social media, is already in place. And we are improving it. So what is remaining now is to empower you. Now that you people, you have come up, you have added to us, because for us, we are farmers. Then we have the manufacturers, some local, some foreigners. Then we have the hotel owners. Then we have the tourism companies. But you have now come in to provide now a service of promotion using different attributes. You get an Narungi, the one who was beauty. Then you say, okay, munjagalanga nga beauty naye mwanyi ziriwa bali abaze kulaba Narungi kati bali abemwanyi. Very good. This is salesmanship. Even that's why footballers, Cheptegei, the marathon, is a big promoter. Even in the past, you think it is new, but actually it's not new. Because like in the past, you would get a famous boxer, like Muhammad Ali, that time. Then he takes a picture with a certain shirt. People admire Muhammad Ali, but now the shirt he has put on, and he's actually paid for that, for promoting that product to his followers because of boxing. So it's not exactly new, but I'm glad to see that our young people are working up to put that layer of the promoters, and we shall support you now. Continue to improve the technology of communication, but support also the you people, the operational support. Now, the only other thing we need to sort out is when we sometimes close the internet because of the insecurity. I've told our security people to invest more on detecting and locating the troublemaker and catching him without disturbing the rest. We are working on that. If you know Nyankore, Oktokora, when something like a leaf falls in my coffee, I don't have to throw away the coffee. I just remove the kakora, akakora wekaga mchai yange. Sirina okukasuka chai yana. I just remove the kakora and drink my tea. So we are going to work on that technology of locating the troublemakers or blocking them, but without this period closing of internet. So we are ready for all that. But in your case, you need capital. Singa olna idea yo ogenda wa okufuna capital. So I'm going to discuss with your people here to see how well organized you are. And then the Ministry of Gender and Youth, and we shall see either science and technology or which is the best where you can go and you get you get cheap capital. Okay.
That applies to all these content creators, right? What you're talking about is about content creators.
The same.
Yes.
It is the same.
Okay.
You can see it's good that we are getting together because that content promotion, what content are you promoting? Because if you were promoting imported items or imported services, this is what we call echikurukuto. Echikurukuto, the Nyankore is the chezwiso. Like in the Bible, the woman who was bleeding and came to Jesus to be healed. The problem of Africa has been that echikurukuto. Africa losing resources. So the content, the one you are packaging, selling, narungi, atundachi. If you are selling imported items from China, then you are adding to the chikurukuto. But if you are promoting your own coffee, roasted, then you are adding to Utongaramu Msai. You are adding blood to Uganda, not a chikurukuto. And you can see what you are doing is healthy. Because of the 4 sectors, you have gone from services now into manufacturing. Kati bikwataganye. Bikwataganye. Ate byonna bikuuma omusaayi, byongera omusaayi mu economy ya Uganda. The other person?
Mzee, when earlier when I was telling Mama that the ladies here, many of the young people came out with their Ugandan natural African selves, with our natural hair, with trying our best. So they did this to honor you and Mama.
The what?
Our hair, normal, our natural hair.
State House cut.
Yeah.
Mama's.
Mama Janet cut. Yes.
Very good.
Okay, so publicity, you can come and ask your question and share your name.
Thank you, Sister Natasha. I'm very happy anytime because I have raised my time because I'm very happy. So far. Mommy, how are you? How are you, Mommy? All right. Daddy, how are you today? Or President of Uganda? You know, Chaza publicity natete. Your question now. The President, I have complaint begin now because No, because the Haiti now, the circle of NRM, because the people now, this step, this half, now because contain the people now, the president.
Publicity Natete was saying there are circles that Mama Janet put, I think in Lubaga, to help women. I think there's a gentleman called Mbazira who is in charge of those circles. But he says some people are not getting the money. So that is what he was trying to say. Pardon?
No, Mbazira, the boy of Rubaga.
Yeah. Then he also said that during COVID, he called out to you, President, and you wrote on Twitter that you were one day going to meet him. Sure. I think he had, yeah? So he's thanking you and he's saying he's here. Right now. I don't know if you remember during COVID times.
You organized for me to meet him like in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but yeah.
What happened to the circle of Rubaga?
Pardon?
What happened to the circle of Rubaga?
He was saying that some people are not getting the money.
Is it because Mbazira is diverting it or
no,
what?
Publicity. Soko je. Jango chingambe mu Uganda nchogere mu Luzungu. Kadi ogambe nti sako baziteekawo naye abantu abamu tebafuna ssente. Kati yogera mu Luganda. Yogera Luganda.
Mama Janet yateerawo sako naye ng'abantu abamu naddala mu muluka gwaffe oba mu Lubaga nga tebitutuukako. Nganze Publicity Natete, President. Anytime I'm very poor, I'm very tired. Sako tezintuukako. I'm seriously, President. Tezintuukako.
Kati tezibatuukako kubanga
lwaki tezibatuukako?
Baziba oba tezimala.
Omukulembeze programu zonna nziwulira. Programu zonna tuziwulira sako tuziwulira naye tezitutuukako zaka tezimala. Don't contact begin now to be story zaka tezimala. Sente zibula mu bantu zitambulira mu bantu balala.
Okay. Webale. Sente zitambulira mu bantu balala tezibatuukako. Kyabadde agamba.
Abatali banaku.
Abatali banaku. Abanaku tezibatuukako.
Okay.
Yes, sebo. Kati President agambye mu wiiki 2 mukyala Natasha agenda kutwala omusisinkano. Abuza ati byaddala sebo. Yeah, but the question he was supposed to ask was about ideology. His earlier question was the NRM, you're always referring to the NRM ideology when you're addressing people and answering questions. Does that ideology not change even after 40 years or 60 years? How come it has stayed the same?
No, because the basics have not changed. The basics, because the NRM starts with our ideology stands on yari ku misingi esatu, three points. Number 1 was liberation of the whole of Africa, because the whole of Africa had been colonized by the Europeans. So we could not do anything without getting our freedom. So that's why, although by that time Uganda itself had become like the British had left, but they were still controlling many parts of Africa. So we were saying, liberate the whole of Africa. All you foreigners, go, leave us alone. But after they leave, then the next question was, how do we create prosperity? Prosperity, how can people be prosperous? What I was telling you here, how can you be prosperous in a family, in a country? That's why our advice to all families was, please be involved in producing a good or a service which you sell. If you do that, like if you say, now you are talking of content. Content is now a service. You produce a good or a service and sell it. That's the only way you can get prosperity. Otherwise, how else do you get prosperity? Okusabiriza. Tosobola kujjamu prosperity. So, if you produce a good or a service, then the next question is, who buys it? Akatare. That's why twazimula tribalism. In the 60s, people were talking of tribes, Buganda, Ankole, Lango, and so on. Nefe nitubizimula. Nitugamba nti Emunyankole, who wants to be prosperous, will produce milk, beef, bananas, but the Banyankole don't buy from him. Abanyankole tebamugulako. Kulwaki kubanga Abanyankole balina ebifaanana ng'ebyalina. They have the same products. So bani abamugulako? People from other parts of Uganda. So that's why we are saying, because we want to create prosperity, we need to emphasize Uganda. Uganda egenda kugasa omuna Uganda okusinga amawanga wangago. That's why we said patriotism. Love Uganda. Kulwaki kubanga ogyetaaga. You need Uganda. The tribes are there, but if you emphasize them, you may not get the prosperity you are looking for. So that's why then netusanga nga bwe tubadde twogera wano nti nakatale ka Uganda tekamala. You have diverted him. So we found that nakatale ka Uganda tekamala. Twetaaga katale ka East Africa. Twetaaga katale ka Africa. So that's why we are saying the second point is Pan-Africanism. Love Africa. Why? Because you need it. Bw'oba oyagala kubeera obulungi, weetaaga Uganda eyegatte, ate eyegatte awamu ne Africa. Economically and in some cases also politically. And then so on. So you cannot say ideology ekyuka etya kubanga ebizibu they are the same problems. Biringa omuntu tosobola kugamba nti enkola ye yakyuka nti omutima tegukyakola ng'omutima nti kubanga emyaka 40 the heart is no longer heart. The heart is still the heart. Emiswa still the same emiswa. Yes, there are some other things which change, but there are those which don't change. What changes in this case is technology. But the needs, wealth, markets, security, tebichuka. They may take a new form, but they are still the same. And we are still pursuing them. So this is the answer to Vomutani. His name is Publicity. Oh, okay, publicity. So the ideology can't change because the needs are still the same. Yes, the things you sell in the market may change. For instance, in the 60s, twali tutandise okwambala esaati za nylon. Nylon yali efuuse nylon. There was a fabric called nylon. Naye abantu ne basanga nti nylon si nnungi eyo ne bagyerabira. Ne tudda ku cotton, ate oluvannyuma ne bateeka cotton ne bagigatta ne polyester. Kati kyekiriko ekyo kikyuka naye akatale okeetaaga. Oba otunda nylon, oba otunda cotton, akatale okeetaaga. Tosobola kugamba nti kati sikyetaaga katale. Oba nti nkooye na mwoyo gwa Uganda tudde mu mwoyo gw'amawanga ga tribes. Oba weekubye endobo. So that's what we mean by the ideology of the NRM. What else is remaining?
There is one more last question, and I think it's for Mama, and of course also from Zay, from Lil Puzzle, and you can please share your name.
Bas. Kongula. Banayenga bwe mukubenga lutino tekituukikako. Munjagalizeeko obw'olumu temubanga abayimbi, ensonga lwaki mbayimbi nze Katonda yanjawudde nampa omukisa nzije bw'omuleero ndabe Jajja mwami mu buntu oluvannyuma lw'abayimbi okunnemesa. Jajja nnoze gw'olaba ndi mukubi wa ndongo. Bw'oba obadde obanyi b'akamiliyoni bakezo bebekulu n'ekusaasira. Nsaba onoonyereze ku gwe bayita Lil Puzzle nabe. Maama nkulamusizza. Era bwe nabadde nzija nagambye sijja kujja ngalonsa. Nagenzeeko mu studio olukuba n'endukaabya. Kansooke nkuteeremu.
Saba Jajja sase museu onda biranga dala oba tunakundanga babiri kiriba ky'amajambo kuva mu ttale n'akati kikyali ku mutima.
Kaakati Jajja nze ondaba wano nemeseddwa. Abayimbi boolabawo nze tebandabirawo ddala. Mwannyinaze Natasha njagala okwebaza wano leero bwe sivaawo na mukisa nvaawo na kisiraani. Nnyina abagoberezi bangi mu ggwanga lino bwe naaba nvudde onaabuuza nti lunnaba abagoberezi abalina bannange sibalina. Bwe nali njogera ne Kasuku oyo tulina omukutu gwe tubeera bagwagala nnyo e Bulaaya ne mu ggwanga lino Jajja ly'okulembera. Nagamba abantu nti nze bwe ndi kusanga sirinyereka siritya nja kwogera ekindi ku mutima. Ekindi ku mutima Jajja nsabayo ku kasente embeera yo. Njogedde mazima. Simanyi oba ndiddamu kulaba, simanyi oba omukisa ndigufuna. Olumu nagenda okulembeka eggulu ebyenda byakomawo biri kungulu baasala olubuto okuva wano. Waliwo ababeera banjeeya nti bampa ebyenda simanyi oba byawona oba tebyawona. Kaakati Jajja nakuba kampeyini.
Wali mu ddwaliro?
Nagenda eggulu eyo ewa General Salimu Saleba promota wabaweera akasente nange nendowooza banampa naviirayo awo. Navaayo ebyenda biri kungulu. Ne bannongoosa simanyi oba natereera oba saatereera. Mukama y'amanyi. Campaign ze tubaddemu Jajja ze wawanguliddemu akalulu ku percentage ey'owaggulu. Nakubye ebidongo nga bwe njogera ab'amawulire nimbye. Navaayo nzirugala nga nninga kkoni. Ze nanga ndiiti naguba ebigere nga byazimba. Nengezaako kuba amasimu benkubira nga tebakwata. Ne ŋŋamba Mukama lwali kumpa. Jajja ndijja. Jajja neetaaga ku mukono gwo ku buyambi nange ŋŋende neeyagaleko nga bakamiliyoni nga bakkenzo nga bakusaasira abaana abo Jajja obawadde obulamu naye siri mujega bwe nabadde nzija sazze kusabiriza nazze ompa omukono nempita n'ensonga zange ziri wano nawandiise ebbaluwa zange. Ebbaluwa emu esooka wa mwannyinaze baŋŋambye yajja kunnyamba sijja kubonaabona. Mrs. Natasha Kalugire mwannyina ondabiranga ddala ogundegunde maama yiino mwannyina agikuwe njikuwadde Masera Kalekye aliwa mwannyina weebale ondabiranga ddala Jeni Balekye Geno Proscovia Narweso.
Puzzle. Little puzzle, you had a question to ask? You have a question?
Mama zisirina.
Oh.
Saba kuyambibwa. Nchirina kakati bwe nayogera kiyambe ki. Eka nkyogere ndabe. Kuba nasense busedda. Nja kwogera Luzungu Jajja nsobole okutegeerekeka yadde saasoma. Kigenda wa maama. Uganda has been shining in recent years on continental and even global sports scene. The success allowed and make most of us proud. We fear so to that this success are mostly personal. Instead of being pushed by the government, when we will see more investment and focus on sports as a professional activity that Uganda can invest in and get involved into earning a big money on top of making the country proud. Mama wange gwoba okaddamu. Bannange nga mmaliriza Jajja nsaba olagire enkulaba embwangu ddala kubanga nnyinza obutadda wano obulamu bwange bwonna sirina gye ndi kujja banteeke ku bagenda okukulaba amangu eddala oba wiiki eno Jajja neenaazeeko ennaku yannomaluma dda.
Kale Gloria Onomulete one, you bring him when you bring the other one.
Mukube engalo tembanga batima nga abayimbi byange biteredde Jajja weebale ogunde
gwe kuzaala wa
banzaala Masaka kitange yafa mwavu muzibu
Masaka
mwali mulwananga ali mu kuzaala yatuzaala bangi ennaku erumyezi Masaka Kaliisizo jjongoza
Kaliisizo
weebale nnyo Jajja obwavu mbuvuddemu.
Okay, Natasha.
The question he was asking a question. Well, he had a question for Mama, which I think he asked you, Mama, about the sports.
Okay. Okay. His question is a valid question, but it is like all the others we have talked about. Sports, when are we going to invest in sufficient funds so that more people benefit from sports? I think that's the sense of the question. Now, first of all, there was a time when Uganda was not hard at all in sports. Now, we are making moves, and you're saying you're proud of what is happening, the sports arena, and it is good. But when are we investing in sufficient funds? First of all, we believe that sports will continue to become better because we have the secondary schools who also do sports at that level and compete nationally and also regionally with football. I'm sure you've heard about that. We have those competitions with the Kenyans, with the Tanzanians, from time to time. So at that level, we have younger people who are training in sports arena. And the ones who excel will go to the higher level. But for now, I know the country is not investing so much money because there is so much else to invest in. The budget we have has to take care of so much. So we are investing in some money in sports. Not as much as we would want, but at least we are investing some money. And we are changing the way we used to do things. People never used to plan for sports. There are so many groups, and all of them would train on their own. They would raise funds for themselves. Then when they are invited to compete at an international level, then we hear about them going to Egypt, going to Nigeria, going some places. And sometimes we would get to hear about them. When they're already there, they have no accommodation, they have no food, I don't know what. But that was because we were not planning for sports. Now, we plan for sports at the national level. And we choose which groups to fund as a nation, because we can't fund all of them who are there. So we are becoming better by the year. Absolutely, we are becoming better, and that should be comforting to you. And as government gets more resources in our budget, we will get more funding for sports. And then we will do better even at sports. And we will get more of our young people doing better. But there is also another problem, which I had talked about earlier, about our people thinking that what others do in their countries is better than what we do here. So we don't have patience, we don't have discipline. When we have a member of a sports team who excels, we think that one now qualifies to go and play for some sports team in the UK or sports team in Germany, which does not allow us to have excellent sports people because they go away. Now, when we have Ugandans who persist to play for Uganda, our sports teams will become better and we will begin to earn better. Those young people can be paid a salary that is good because we recognize the talent they have. So for now, I'm talking to them about why do you have to go? Sometimes you read in the papers when somebody has been seen to be good in football, for instance, or a goalkeeper, or then people start saying, now he has got to a point where he qualifies to go. Why? Why go? Also, Uganda need good sports people. You must understand those problems. Those are the problems I was saying are because of our captivity in our education. in our development, we were actually captive by a system that we believed is the only way to live. We can't live as Africans, as Ugandans. Now, we have to learn to be proud of what we do right here. That's when we will have excellent teams. That's when we'll begin to earn a lot of money from what we do. And I trust that God is going to supply more resources in government budget so that many of our programs can be funded better. And so you must have faith that sports will become better and our children can earn an income, a good income from what they do. Okay? Thank you. That's what I can say.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mama. That brings us to the end of our interaction. Can we give a big hand clap to Mama and Mzee?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And also, make it your responsibility. Please make it your responsibility to get more of your generation to understand just how important it is for young people to really be proud of who they are as Ugandans, as Africans, and that you can't apologize for what you are because you're grateful that God made you who you are. And believe me, we will build a nation that we will be proud of. The problem we have had is that that Africans have always been very ashamed of being Africans. And so the world look at us as we don't matter. We matter to God, people, please believe that. And we don't have to go any place else. Uganda is a paradise. If we work hard on building Uganda into a paradise, the world will want to come here to see. And I've been saying that we have really let down God because God has waited so long to see us build our nations, use the resources He placed in our continent, and begin to be the ones to give support and donations to the suffering world, instead of forever being the ones begging. Because God gave us so much. There is ever so much here. There is nothing that is not in Africa, and in Uganda in particular. When you people begin to strive to really make sure Uganda earns what it deserves, you will see. People will want to come and see what is it in Uganda that makes these people so proud of their homeland. And we will tell them, Uganda can speak for itself even, we don't have to talk so much. People who come here, many people come here and don't want to go away. And the shame is that our children are forever trying to run away from Uganda to go for KU. And they suffer in those countries, and they become enslaved, and they get paid peanuts when we can make money here. I think Wasangwa is a perfect example. And he's offering that he wants to go, since the church leaders go out and preach every Sunday and never gets tired, Wasangwa wants to go out and preach to our villages, that they don't have to go elsewhere, that we can make money here and live good lives. So please make it also your responsibility to tell others of your generation and those younger that Uganda is a paradise. We are blessed to be Ugandans, and just forget and fight that we will not recognize these tribes that break us, that separate us, that show us what is bad about each other. Refuse and say we are Ugandans, period. When I was in Karamoja, I used to tell the Karamojong to refuse to look at their tribes and just say you are Karamojong, all of you. And you remember what we had done in Karamoja? They had become more united, they had become more peaceful because they ignored those tribes that would break them. So you young people, please let your generation be a blessing to Uganda by refusing to highlight those tribes and religions. Religion is a matter of your heart and your God. Pray. You go to church and pray, but that's nothing to separate you from your colleague. And your tribe, you did not choose it. You are who you are because you found yourself who you are. Just hold hands and refuse to be divided. And tell whoever wants to hear that you are Ugandans. Don't allow those people who come here and say, where do you come from? What is your tribe called? Just say, my tribe is Ugandan. And you see, Uganda will really merge to be a powerful nation. And I told you, it will be unstoppable. And God will bless us, and bless us even more. That oil we are talking about, He will give it to us and let it run. And it will fund all these programs we are talking about. If we indeed fight corruption, and we will. If you are disciplined and you have integrity and you become selfless and you are proud of your families, and we will become unstoppable. So when you live here, just remember you have a duty to really promote Uganda for yourself and your children after you. God bless you.
Request that one of the young people, Palma Nkunda, gives us a summary of what they have picked up from what you and Mzee have said.
Okay.
Thank you, Mzee and Mama, for this golden opportunity. Natasha has asked that I summarize what we've learned here, but I would like to start with a very, very short story. First of all, Mama, I want to thank you for being a woman of faith and valor, and for teaching us how to lead as women and as mothers of the nation. Truly an honor. The first time you went to Karamoja as minister, I remember you told us that Karamoja will begin to grow its own food, not by my might, but the might of God. And we saw that happen. And for the very first time, Karamoja was able to grow its own food when she was minister. That was God working through her. Secondly, is the story of Mzee, and I'm coming to you, Mzee, because it summarizes what we've learned today. I had a neighbor back in the village in Kabale. He was a simple geography teacher. And the story of oil in Uganda has never been fully told, at least to the Bazukulu. It's something you should do with Marcel and Sanda. And he got a phone call to travel to Kampala to train and work in the oil sector that none of us were sure would get to this day. So his first flight out of Uganda was to go and study oil and come back and work in Uganda in the oil department. Unfortunately, he died last year as a director in the upstream oil Dozif. But you had seen what nobody could see, and you'd shared the story of how you went to, I think, France, and they asked you to step aside and they gave you a commissioner because nobody believed in Uganda at the time, but you did. So I'd like to thank you so much, Musei, for that vision. The other story, a very short one as well, is of, what is it called? This place in Nakasongola that overhauls and rebuilds helicopters. The Pro Heli, yes. Nobody thought that we would train our own scientists to put a helicopter apart and put it together, because we're using Russia and Ukraine, I think, to do that job. But today, with the war in Ukraine and Russia, our own people are doing the job in Nakasongola. You should take time and go see the story of Uganda. Go feel the story of Uganda, as it was, as it is, and as it will be, if we keep our faith, if we keep united, and if we merge development and growth. You spoke about the 4 sectors. I hope all of us here can at least strive to belong to any one of the 4 sectors, even you publicity natete. Any one of them, there'll be something in your pocket. We've learned so much, but for me, it is the love of Uganda, in summary, the love of Uganda, the strategic security of Uganda and of Africa. That is my biggest takeaway. And I hope it can be for us all, because when you love Uganda, sometimes on TikTok they abuse us. How do you teach patriotism? How do you teach loving Uganda? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. If you go to other countries where toddlers speak so well about their countries, it is because they are intentional about this. And so for me, the summary of all this Musei is teaching us values of wealth creation, values of loving our country, Uganda, values of working for our country, Uganda, values of growing our country from where it is today to a country that we want our unborn grandchildren to inherit. I think, Natasha, in summary, that is just about it. Otherwise, I would go point by point and will not end here. So I thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, let me summarize. Can somebody translate in Uganda? I'm very glad to meet you.
Asanyise nnyo okubeera nga tusisinkana olunaku olwaleero.
And to know your contribution.
N'okumanya obuweereza bwammwe mu kino ekintu kye tulimu olunaku olwaleero.
In the new economy.
Mu ikonomi empya.
Because you are adding
kubanga tuli mu kutufuna tuyingiza
something which was slightly different,
ekintu nga kitonotono nga kyanjawulomuko katono,
which was just usual advertising,
ekyali okulanga okwali okwa bulijjo okwali okwa bulukalo
in the radios and TVs.
Ku radio ne TV.
Now you have used the internet to combine celebrity with promotion.
Kati mukozesezza omukutu gumugatta abantu okubeera nga mugatta abamanyikiddwa n'abantu aba bulijjo.
And also link it with the other sectors, the ones that have obubondo obulala.
I beg your pardon, sir.
Also link it with the other bubondo.
Obubondo obugulupu.
No, obubondo, the sectors.
Sectors, yes.
So,
yeah.
I have heard that many of you were born in difficult circumstances.
Awulidde nti mwe abasinga ku mwe mwazaalibwa mu mbeera ez'enjawulo.
Eyalimu ebisoomoozo.
Obukusoomezebwa by'ebizibu omuli challenges ez'enjawulo.
And this is exactly what we have been struggling with. That's exactly what we have been struggling with.
Era nga bye bino bye mubadde muyitamu nga mubonaabona nabyo.
Bye tubadde tugezaako okugonjoola
okulwanyisa.
Now,
era kati
it must be done. I want you to understand the whole battle.
I beg your pardon.
I want them to understand the whole battle also.
Ayagala ekintu kino kyonna kyonna mukitegeere bulungi mukikenkuke. Battle olutalo.
Now, like the boy from Karisuzo.
Era ng'ono omulenzi ava e Kalisizo Lilipazo.
The one who was born in difficult circumstances.
Eyazaalibwa mu mbeera ey'okunyigirizibwa n'okubonaabona n'okukaluukana.
Now there are many people like that.
Era waliwo abantu bangi abalinga ye.
The question is, how can a country deal with that?
Ekibuuzo kiri nti eggwanga lisobola litya okugonjoola ensonga eyo?
Because we knew all this when we started. We knew all this when we started.
Kubanga twamanya bino byonna okuva we twatandika.
And that's why we said, first of all,
era kyova olaba tugamba mu kusookera ddala,
you involve as many people in the money sectors as possible.
Tuteekamu mu sekita ya ssente abantu ab'enjawulo, abakugu ab'enjawulo.
Si bakugu abasobola kwenyigiramu.
Those that can play a role in it.
Abasobola tugezako okulaba nti abasobola kwenyigira mu kukola ssente benyigiramu.
He's saying that he's trying so hard so that people.
Myerera ku Luganda nkuyamba buyambi.
Okay, sir.
So,
era
that's why we have been struggling with the people joining the money economy in the 4 sectors.
Chovola tubadde tugezaako okubeera nga tulwana n'abantu abagezaako okwenyigira mu ekonomi y'okuyingiza ssente.
Omubondo obuna.
In 4 groups.
As you hear,
nga we muwulira,
we are now 70% have joined the money economy.
Ebitundu 7 ku buli 100 byegasse ku ekonomi y'okubeera ng'eyingiza ssente.
Now, those ones will help us to deal with the other 30%.
Kati abo ebitundu 7 ku buli 100 bajja tuyambako okubanga tuleeta n'abaana ebitundu 3 ku buli 100 nabo bagaggawale oba bafune ssente.
Omwana amanyi kuvunula bannange.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
How will they do it?
Banakikola batya?
By taking taxes from them.
Nga tubajjako emisolo nga tuwa bali abatalina.
Bali abagagga tubajjako emisolo gye tukozesa okuyamba bali abalina ebisoomoozo.
Batoola ku bagagga ssente, abagagga ennyo ne babatoolako ssente ate ne bawa bano abaavu ennyo nabo basobole okuba nga beegattako banga bagagga wano.
So that's why in this Kisanja we are going to concentrate on number 1, getting rid of poverty.
Era mu kino ekisanja agenda kuteeka essira mu kugoba obwavu, mukikubireko mu ngalo.
Because that poverty is the one causing all these problems.
Era obwavu obwo bwe buleeta ebizibu bino byonna.
And the way to do it is to okunyweza to those ensawo, those funds.
Era engeri y'okukikola y'eyokunyweza ensawo ez'abo abantu ez'okulwanyisa obwavu. PDM, Parish Development Model. Emyoga.
Ghetto funds.
Sente zibawa abaana ba ghetto.
Border funds.
Sente zibawa abavuzi ba boda.
And then the money is through the UDB for the rich people.
Ne sente zebagenda okubanga bawa
abagagga okuyita mu UDB.
Abagagga abavundu ennyo bajjako babawe.
So what I ask you now,
era kyababuuza kati,
because we have made sure that money is where everybody can easily check.
Era kyetugenda okufuba nti tukola ssente ezo nga buli omu asobola okuba nga asobola ozikozesa.
Ensawo ezo tuziteeka awali okumpi n'abantu. Ensawo ezo ez'okulwanyisa obwavu.
Bagenda kuba bazisembeza ku baavu abo abantu abamufuna mpola.
Because PDM is at the parish.
PDM, Parish Development Model, sente zino ze bawa emiruka egy'enjawulo.
In the towns, it is in the wards.
Mu matawuni oba mu bubuga obutono mulimu wards.
Bebeera mu wards. Ward bagiyita batya mu Luganda?
Ward kabanga akaala akatonotono akali mu kibuga ekyo. Ak'omu tawuni.
So, Kyembasaba, what I ask you is please go and join the circle.
Abasaba mugende mweyunge ku ssako ezo.
Because these circles are open.
Kubanga ssako ezo ziguddwawo.
Above 18.
Nga buli muntu ali waggulu w'emyaka 18 osobola okuziganyulwa.
There is nobody who can stop you.
Teri ayinza kukugaana oba kustopinga.
So we are now going to put more money, but this is good because it is accessible to everybody umumparo.
Agambi bagenda kuba bateekamu sente nyingi ate era buli omu ajja kuba asobola okugendayo ng'ajjayo bw'akola ki nga bw'azzaayo.
Mujjayo mu mpalo, ono ajjayo olwaleero omulala n'ajjayo enkya.
Mu bitundutundu nga leero bw'ojjayo n'omulala n'oli.
So this will now create parish banks.
Era kino kijja kubeera nga kitondawo banka eza parish oba ez'obutundu obwo obutawuni obwo.
Because you can imagine, since we started, we have already put now 500 million in each parish. Ezomu byalo.
Era bakateeka miliyoni 5 mu buli parish mu byalo.
Like they are here in Kisozi, in those villages you see across.
Ng'ebyalo bye mulaba wano mu Kisozi ebyetooloddewo.
Now, 500 million, 100 million per year, 100 million per year, that's already 500 in a parish.
Miliyoni 5 buli mwaka, already kati zibanga miliyoni 10 buli mwaka, already buli mwaka zigenda zikula, kitegeeza baba bakola ki?
Twongerako buli mwaka twongerako 10.
Buli mwaka bajja kuba bongerako 10 ng'abantu bwe baganyulwamu nga bwe bajjayo bwe bazzaayo bwe batyo.
Now in the third year,
mu mwaka ogwokusatu,
the ones who got first,
abaafuna mu kusooka,
they pay back.
Basasula ne bazzaayo.
After 24 months.
Oluvannyuma lw'emyezi
24.
Sorry, 24.
They pay back. The one who took 1 million pays back 1 million n'emitwalo 12.
Eyatwala akakadde azze miliyoni. Eyatwala akakadde aza kakadde kamu
n'emitwalo
12.
2 years is emitwalo 6 buli mwaka. 2 years, that's 120,000.
Emitwalo 6 buli mwaka.
So ekikumi abasooka okufuna, the 100 who got first, if they pay back within ekisanja, 300 will have paid back.
Era abasooka okuba nga bafuna bwe bamala okuzza
omukisanja
ekisanja we kinaggwerako abantu ng'ebya
bisatu
baba bafunye.
So it is now 500 plus 300, 500 in the parish.
Kati baba 5 gattako ebisatu, kale kugamba oba okola okubala
omwana amanyi kuvunula banange.
Obale kusiima Jajja.
This is now 800.
Era kati lubeera 800
in a parish.
Mu parishi.
Now, but in the coming Sunday, we are saying we are going to give 200 million. Biarhanga, what have we said? So in the towns, we are going to add to, instead of 100 million per ward, we shall give 300 million.
Era mu buli tawuni mu kifo ky'obbawanga miliyoni 10 buli kalaka akatini bajja kuba bongerako bawemeka miliyoni 3.
So it will be 300 instead of 100 million.
So zijja kuba miliyoni 3 mu kifo kya miliyoni 10.
So
era
but we may even add on even in the villages if we see how it is working.
Era ne ku byalo bajja kuba bongerako okusinziira binaaba bitambudde.
Now that is for the PDM, the villages.
kati ebyo bya parish development model oba ku byalo ku level y'ebyalo.
Now, for you, the creative industry,
kati kummwe abayiiya
omwana akyusa bannange abayiiya wasoma ki?
nakola medicine, nakola biomedical engineering, emirimu negibula nensalawo ngende ku TikTok.
Bachelor of?
Yes.
Yes, what?
Biomedical engineering on a bachelor's level.
Biological? Biomedical?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So he understands English. So yes. For you, we are going to put money in your own circles.
Era mmwe bagenda kuba bateramu ssente mu sako zammwe. Tisana.
I don't know why you don't work together, because we have already put billions with Abayimbi, with Kenzo's group.
Tamanyi lwaki temukwatagana n'abayimbi kuba abayimbi babawadde obuwumbi.
So I don't know what the problem, when these people come,
tamanyi buzibu we buva.
They will tell me what the problem is.
Bajja mugamba obuzibu wennyini we buva.
Because
kubanga
with Bebe Cool earlier on,
Bebe Cool oyo,
I had put a recording center in first of all, there was one for Bebe Cool alone.
Waliwo ezaali za Bebe Cool yekka.
A recording center.
Recording center nga Bebe Cool.
I don't know how that one is working. I'll ask him what.
Tamanyi we bikola era ajja mubuuza bikola bitya.
But also, State House built another recording center in Mengo here.
Ate yo State House neefunira ekifo we balikodingira mu Mengo.
So I don't know why that one is not working well.
Tamanyi lwaki tekikola bulungi.
Ogamba ki? Eyemengo kulwaki abayimbi kulwaki temugendayo ne mukwata
muzeeyi bakufera bakwata abayimbi abatali bankizo, abayimbi be basobola okufutyanka abatalina nnyo bizibu. Muzeeyi kankubuulira abayimbi abamu baavaako ne bagwa n'eddala olw'ebiragalalagala, olw'embeera embi gye bayitamu. Oli bw'afuna ekintu kyafunye adduka nakyo na mikwano gye ne bagaba n'omunyago mwe ne muviiramu awo. Kakati bw'otunuulira studio ezo z'oyogera, ffe weekanga ng'abazigendamu bantu bwe bati baalubatu, era ffe tetulinnyangayo. Oba ebyuma wabagulira bya mukopa
kulwaki
tebirina saawundi mulungi. Muzeeyi bakola ennyimba nga tezinyuma, nga terunyuma, tolina na bw'oyinza kuluteeka.
Bakola ki?
Bakwata abayimbi abatalina nnyo bizibu. Waliwo muzeeyi abayimbi abalina ebizibu, abali ku drugs, olwa depression, obwavu obubaluma, abo tebaagala bawuliriza. Bagenda ne bakwata bano abayimbi abatalina nnyo bizibu, bano abayimbi abali eyo mu byalo abatanafuna buvunaanyizibwa, basobole okufissa ka percentage akawera, kubanga ffe bakimanyi tulina obuvunaanyizibwa. Abagamba oyo temumuleeta ajja kututawaanya mu ngabana ne tutaganyulwamu. Kyova olaba tetukolaganira ddala nabo. Kyova ola nze nayimiridde mu maaso agange ne bwanze muzeeyi.
Kati ndowooza kye tunakola kale bwobale tuula
akange muzeeyi bakampe, nze sikolagana naabo.
Kale so
please.
Muzeeyi njagala kutangazaamu kitono. Nsooka okwebaza okuwangula muzeeyi. Mu kutangazaamu sometimes nti bwe tutuuka mu maaso go buli omu aba n'ekigendererwa kye oba akake. Okusooka muzeeyi nja kwebaza otuwa omukisa ffenna bannayuganda n'abavubuka bawa omukisa. Nja kwogera ku Bebe Cool ne Kenzo. Kenzo wamukwasa department ya music era akola bulungi era ayambye abayimbi bangi. Abayimbi boolaba abasinga bagenda ne bajjayo ssente, abalala batadde mu rehabs baali baavaako baagwa eddalu, abalala abajje wansi n'abatufuula abantu. abamu abajja ne mu Uganda ku psychologically n'abatwala mu nsi endala okulaba ng'agezaako nnyo kye kimu ne Bebe Cool. No. I know what I'm talking. I know what I'm talking. Excuse me. Muzeyi, bano si bayimbi. Lili Pazo ye muyimbi. Muzeyi Bebe Cool bwe twagenda mu campaigns yakwata abayimbi bewamuwa mu department ye. Lwakuba nti wetufunayo akasente abantu batya appreciate okugamba nti kati nfunyewo okumatira nga newankubadde nti oli asobola ofuna akantu n'afunayo kyafuna n'alabanga ekitono oba ekitamumaze naye bwe tunanafuyanga abantu abatusakira oba muzeyi batukwasizza tugenda kubeera nga tetutuusa sako zonna zafunye sente. Kati Kasuku afunye sente. Kasuku is a blogger ba TikTok bali mu kuyomba naye Kasuku agenda gatta abantu bonna mu sako eyo yemu. So njaga tu appreciating kye tuba tuyina. Luli muzeyi abantu bajja ne bagamba ab'obutale muzeyi bya Luhanga akola nnyo era tutambula ku ground naye we twali ekkollo bagamba nti bafuna sente ne bamakanika ne bawayiza ajja tuwuzia na myalo.
Ngenda kubyekenenya.
Thank you so much.
Muzeyi has already
kati ndowooza ndaba mulina empaka bwe tubagamba tumukole saako
bwe bagamba okwegatta
saako temugikola. You don't do it. I don't know what the problem is. We shall find out what the problem is.
Tamanyi lwaki temugikola naye agenda nnoonyereza ategeere lwaki temugikola.
Saako netwala buli omu yenna. The circle should be able to have everybody join.
Sako erina okugatta buli muntu yenna abagwa mu kiti ekyo.
But now there is a problem, but they will tell me what the problem is.
Naye kati waliwo obuzibu naye era bajja mubuulira obuzibu obwo we buli wennyini.
Now if there is a problem there,
wabaawo obuzibu awo wennyini,
we may have to have now ekitongole now, not kubanga tubadde tukatugamba tumwe abayimbi kanjogere mu Luganda. Let me try my Luganda.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you. Webale nnyo okukyusa amanya g'omukyusa wange omutafuta wange
amanya nze Sefco Ismail.
Ani?
Sefco Ismail.
Sebi?
Sefco Ismail.
Sefco?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, Sefco. Webale nnyo.
Thank you.
So we may have to tuyinza okukola ekitongole ekyange kubanga tubale tugamba tumwekolemu omulimu omwe. Kati bwe mwekolamu omulimu kirabika mwekutulamu, abamu ne bayingira abamu ne batayingira. Kati singa tubeera n'ekitongole si kyabayimbi naye kyabakozi bange bokka, ekyo mukiraba mutya, so that ensawo ne tugiteekaawo bo tebaganyirwamu, bo bakozi. Ekyo mukiraba mutya, kubanga kino ekyakinoomu kirinamu ebizibu, kubanga kinoomu ono wadde that is now like a grant. Omanyi waliwo grant okuwa obuwi bitwali tukola mu NADS twawerezanga ensigo, oyo tumuwadde takomyawo, tumuwadde takomyawo. Kati olaba kitwala sente nyingi. Kati PDM ekirungi kyayo kiri nti ensawo eri wano, bwafunye kozesa, oluvannyuma lwa emyaka 2 otandika okukomyawo, n'omulala naye kati olabaawo kaba kaato ente ziri zemulabye obwato bumu ente emu ejja nenywa nevaawo endala nejja akaato kamu naye ente zinywerako nyingi. So I think we shall have to ntekewo akatongole akakolera omulimu guno ogw'okuweereza abayimbi ne bakozesa ne bakomyawo mpolampola ne bakozesa they can return tuyinza kulaba akomyewo atandise okukomyawo oluvannyuma b'emyaka ng'esatu ena so that it's better buli omu yena ali mu kiti ekyo ajje ku kaato ako kwanywera. I will study that. Naye kansooke ndabe bano bwe banajja bagenda okwongera okunyonyola. So mu kisanja kino ekijja tulina okulwanyisa obwavu kubanga obwavu kyekizibu. Obwavu n'ebbula ly'emirimu ebintu bibiri. So n'olwekyo nsanyusa okujja wano kubanga ebyo bwe tubikwatako buno obunaku okulaba omwana amamba nga Kenzo yakulira ku luguudo. Kenzo bwatyo bwe yangamba nti abaana bakulira ku luguudo, street children, abazadde babalekaawo obwana ne bukulira kati bwe tunakwata ku kyobwavu ekiddako kya abaana okusomera obwerere mu masomero ga gavumenti. Ekyo nakyo kyandiyambye singa twakiteeka mu nkola bulungi naye bakikonesa bakirekawo makati nekifiiraawo. Naye njagala kwebaza Natasha okukwatagana nammwe n'abandeetera. Kati naye njagala nammwe munyambe omungabana kubanga erimu omungabana ya gavumenti wabayo empaka omukujjura bwe tuba tujjura abali kumpi n'entamu basooka ne beeyongerako. Ali kumpi n'entamu yejjulira ne bantawanya naye ate bano abanaku bange bali eyo basirise mbeere n'entalo nzeka. Naye kati bwe munampagira ne tugamba nti twalanga ebya district, twagala district empya. District empya kitegeeza sente zigenda mu administration, chairman omupya, simanyi biki. Singa tusoose ne tukola ku bwavu ebya administration byandize luvannyuma. Naye kubanga temubeerayo mubeera eyo musirise, bali abajjula bateeka ku ssowaani zaabwe. N'olwekyo nammwe mwenenye muleme okubeera obutafaayo kubanga esente ezo zammwe z'emisolo gya Uganda bajeti eyo gyemuwulira obutabalika 7 sente zammwe mwandibadde mufaayo nti abanaku batuwadde mmeka. Ekyo temukifaako muli mu by'omupiira. Sibaganye kubeera mu by'emipiira naye mulwane ku busika bwammwe kubanga zino sente zammwe. Okuzigabanira eyo ne baziteeka mu birala entambula kiki mwe ne musirika eyo nsobi. Muteekeko like this one here. N'abalala mwenna you should take interest. Esente ezo budget eri ku ki? kulwaki temwongeddemu PDM, kulwaki mutaddemu miliyoni 1,000 zokka, kulwaki temwongeddemu ebibiri amaka gonna gatuukibweko mangu. Nabo banyonyere kulwaki baagala kutandika district, kubanga bali mu district ezitwala sente, district empya, chairman ompya oyo sente, kaawo sente, biki sente, songa twandibadde tusookeraku bano abanaku. Naye bwe musirika bali abali kumpi n'entamu emmere bagimalireeyo mu fumbiro, ogenda kujja mu dining wasigadde akatundu katono. So therefore tukiriziganye nti tugobe obwavu.
New Vision TV. Stream smart, stream New Vision.